Aloha and good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to This Is Now. I'm Dylan Ancheta. We are tracking some breaking national news. Officials say all ports of entry near Niagara Falls remain closed after an explosion there on the Rainbow Bridge crossing earlier this morning. I want to go ahead and show you what the scene looked like there. Officials are saying, multiple law enforcement sources say this is all happening following a vehicle that tried to enter the U.S. from Canada around noon. They say the driver cleared the first checkpoint and was sent to a second for further inspection, and that's when they say the vehicle exploded for reasons that are unclear. What we know at this hour, 2 people are dead in that car explosion. It's unclear the motive or who is behind this, and in fact we are awaiting a press conference with an update. This is a live look at the podium, a signal brought to us by our affiliates there. We are awaiting this press conference, and we will work to bring it to you if it happens in this newscast. There was no immediate information on the cause of this explosion, but it definitely raised concerns on both sides of the border. The White House has said President Joe Biden was closely following the developments, and that Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also said they were taking this very seriously. Prime Minister Trudeau also informed members of Parliament before he excused himself to go get more information and to share all of this. Once again, we are awaiting that news conference, which could happen at any moment, and when it does begin, we will bring that to you live right here. For more on this, we want to send it over to Bradley Blackburn, who has a recap of this morning's events.
Witnesses describe a fireball at this border crossing between the U.S. and Canada. A car exploded at a checkpoint at Rainbow Bridge near Niagara Falls.
The car was coming flying back here like over 100 miles an hour. We could hardly even see me. It was going that quick.
This witness saw the impact.
And then it looked like he hit the fence, and this fire started, and then all of a sudden he went up in the air, and then it was a ball of fire like 30, 40 feet high. I've never seen anything like it.
The border incident comes as New York law enforcement prepares for a major event, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Thousands of police officers will be positioned along the parade route.
Our heavy weapons teams, our blocker trucks, officers deployed throughout the route.
CBS News has reviewed a threat assessment for the parade, warning about the heightened threat environment due to the Israel-Hamas conflict. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
There's some relief on Kauai today after Kauai police caught up with 27-year-old Sateki Nisa of Pahoa yesterday. He's suspected of stealing a car at gunpoint last week Monday in Lihue. Police saw him the next day in that stolen car and pulled him over. We're told Nisa ran from the scene into some nearby woods, and he's now charged with 7 offenses. His bail has been set at $114,000. The investigation is ongoing. The state and military are still trying to figure out how to safely remove the military plane that crashed in Kaneohe Bay. The Navy surveillance plane overshot the runway Monday afternoon. All 9 crew members who are based in Washington state made it safely into life rafts. So far, authorities have released no information on the salvage plan. The Sierra Club says the military needs to be transparent with their next steps, especially after the Red Hill crisis.
I think we need to know what kinds of chemicals to test for. We need the Navy to act expeditiously, get all of the fuel of this plane, get the plane away from these sensitive habitats, and we need surveys and assessments to know just what kind of damage has been done or that may occur.
A bit of good news here. The Department of Health says no fuel has been released into the waters, and it will oversee the plane's removal. There is no word on a timeline. Meanwhile, Navy leaders told the Commission on Water Resource Management they have made progress cleaning up the polluted Red Hill aquifer. But there remains distrust and anger over the continued dumping of 5 million gallons a day into the Halava Stream, which is a tactic to prevent contamination from spreading to other water sources. Critics say the commission should force the base to conserve water by cutting back on how much they are permitted to use.
Conservation measures is the military imposing on their own people? Are they still watering the golf courses?
And when you have a permittee who has, through dereliction of duty and a culture of complacency, poisoned the water supply that we all rely on for life. You really need to ratchet back on their allocations.
The Navy says it has cut back and is using about 3/4 of what it used to consume. It's seeking permission from the health department to reduce the flushing into the stream to about 2 million gallons a day, while also seeking to build a 12 million gallon water treatment plant on Red Hill. Over on Maui, another section of Lahaina has been cleared to drink the water. The county says the water in areas L3A and L3B is now safe for unrestricted use, but everyone should be flushing their pipes for at least 10 minutes to remove any standing water in the plumbing. Areas L4A through L6 remain under the unsafe water advisory. You can check out an updated water advisory map online at mauirecovers.org. And another announcement out of Maui, the federal government is providing $40 million for an emergency project to keep storm runoff from reaching the ocean in Lahaina. A capture system will be installed along the entire length of Front Street and parts of Honoapi'ilani Highway to keep disaster debris, including silt and ash, away from the precious coastline. The runoff will be filtered and treated to remove pollutants before it's discharged back in the storm drain system. Well, this holiday weekend, thousands are taking to the skies to be with loved ones near and far. Our Casey Lund was at Honolulu International Airport and filed this report.
We got here at 4 a.m. and things were quiet and slow, as you might imagine, but they certainly picked up throughout the morning and throughout the day, and that was indicative of the numbers that were expected nationally. The AAA saying that more than 55 million people would be hitting the roads or the skies this year. They also anticipated that this would be the busiest holiday travel season for Thanksgiving for airlines since 2005, a 7% increase from just last year. Hawaii's Department of Transportation says despite those forecasts, they didn't see a lot of extra flights this year compared to last. So they say those flights are a lot fuller, so you still want to get to the airport as early as you can, and parking can also be an issue at Hawaii's airports. We talked to a number of travelers, some heading back to the mainland, others locals heading to visit family over on the continent. They had varying degrees of being worried about the busiest travel day of the year.
I'll be fine. We normally fly every Thanksgiving, and once we went to Disneyland during Christmas, that was really busy. But no, going to have fun, and my son, who's in Madison, Wisconsin, is meeting up with us in California.
How was airfare this year for you folks?
Cheaper than last year, maybe by a couple $100. The prices are going down, it seems like right now.
No worries. I'm leaving Hawaii. I'm headed back to San Diego, so no stress here. I'm showing up a day before Thanksgiving, plenty of time to cook. No complaints.
Excellent. What are we cooking? What's on the menu?
We're going to do a spatchcock smoked turkey with a chili coffee rub, and we're going to do mashed potatoes and collard greens.
I'm coming to San Diego, my friend. How's your time in Hawaii?
I love it here. Like, this is definitely a place I could see myself putting down roots.
Keeping you up?
We are worried, but we are optimistic.
How early did you get here for the flight?
2 hours before. Hopefully that's enough.
Okay, I hope so too. So I want to talk to these young people. What is your name, buddy?
Knox.
Knox. Okay, how old are you, buddy?
6.
6. And where are you headed?
San Francisco.
Who plays football in San Francisco?
The Niners.
The Niners. Is that our favorite team?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I want to ask you a couple questions. How old are you, dear?
6.
6. What's your name?
Ren.
Are you excited for your trip to San Francisco?
Yes.
What are you going to do there?
I'm going to watch the Niners on TV.
Yes. Okay, I want to ask you one other question. So I work for Hawaii News Now. Do you know anybody that works at Hawaii News Now? Do you know any weather people?
Jennifer Robbins.
Jennifer Robbins. Do you know who Guy Hoggy is?
No.
No? Oh, that makes sense. Oh, I found the only person in Hawaii who doesn't know who Guy Hoggy is. No matter where you're traveling, folks, make sure you take precautions. COVID's always a concern with more gatherings. Be careful and keep yourself and your family safe. Reporting at the Daniel K. Inouye International Airport, I'm Casey Lund. For now, we'll send things back to you.
Well, as we approach the holiday season here at Hawaii News Now, we want to lend a helping hand to some families in the community. And Jonathan Masaki has a first in a series of stories, our Helping Hand series.
Absolutely.
Your story will be airing this Thanksgiving. Jonathan, what can you tell us about the ohana that you spoke with?
Well, I got to talk with the Utu family, and they are a family of 6. There are 4 boys, 2 teens.
I do apologize. We want to get back to this previously recorded interview with Jonathan, but that breaking news press conference is taking place now. Let's listen in.
No indication of a terrorist attack. Let me repeat that. At this time, there is no indication of a terrorist-involved attack here at the Rainbow Bridge in Western New York. At 11:27 this morning, a car going at a very high rate of speed crashed into a median at Niagara Street, just minutes from here. It's in the city of Niagara Falls, near one of the border crossings into Canada, the Rainbow Bridge. There are 4 border crossings here in Western New York. This is one of the busiest crossings, not just in Western New York, but along the entire U.S.-Canadian border. And it happens on the busiest travel day of the year. So naturally, in a time of heightened alert, everyone sprang into action. It crashed into a Customs and Border Patrol booth, and the car and the booth immediately exploded. Burst into flames. I saw the video of an airborne vehicle that was absolutely surreal. You actually had to look at it and say, was this generated by AI? Because it was so surreal to see how high in the air this vehicle went, and then the crash and the explosion and the fire. That video will be released very shortly. As I said, we're not aware of any threats to this area, but I state the caveat that the investigation is ongoing. If you can imagine, this vehicle basically incinerated. Nothing is left but the engine. The pieces are scattered over 13, 14 booths. So it is a large scene, and it's going to take a lot of time for our federal law enforcement partners who are with me here today and I'll identify, to be able to piece together the real story, to identify the make of the car. Obviously, there is not a license plate. I've been briefed by law enforcement for the last hour. New York State Police, Colonel Andy Crow, Colonel Allen, other law enforcement officials. I've been joined by Andy Bowker, who is the special agent in charge of the Customs and Border Patrol. I was also briefed by the SAC from the FBI. Also was on the phone with Secretary of Homeland Security Mayorkas. The FBI Director, Christopher Bray, has reached out. The White House has reached out. My staff has been in communication with all of them. I spoke with Senator Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, Congressman Higgins, local law enforcement, as well as local elected officials, because the world is watching to find out what happened here. And again, at a time when there's such high anxiety, stress levels are already high, and we've been on heightened alert since October 7th. That's why it's so important for me to stand here and tell the world, based on what we know at this moment, and again, anything can change, there is no sign of terrorist activity with respect to this crash. We have identified that this is a local individual, a Western New Yorker. 2 individuals died in the vehicle. The Border Patrol individual working in the booth was injured. The booth literally protected that individual. They went to the hospital with minor injuries and have been released. There is also, again, the busiest travel day of the year. There's a major disruption. And first of all, our cross-border travel. Right now, the Rainbow Bridge will remain closed while law enforcement continues investigation. Again, this is a large, widely scattered scene, and we're trying to identify all the elements to make sure that there is no unforeseen situations that we need to address before we can open again to the public. We're going to make sure the public is safe before they go back on the Rainbow Bridge. Also make sure the structural integrity of the booths. Also very important, our state DOT will be involved in that as well. The Whirlpool Bridge and Lewiston Queenston Bridge opening early this evening, probably open by now. Can anybody confirm that?
Yeah.
We're open now, okay? They are open now. There's been a lot of people trying to get across. I appreciate that. The Peace Bridge, which was open, is already reopened a half an hour ago. For those traveling by train, unfortunately, Amtrak has temporarily suspended its cross-border service between New York State and Canada. And the Buffalo Airport, despite early reports, the Buffalo Airport was never closed and everything is normal. Domestic flights are still active. There has been no cessation in service there. What I want to do at this time is extend my extreme gratitude to all of our partners, Customs and Border Patrol, Homeland Security, FBI, our state police, local sheriffs from Niagara County, Erie County, all stepped up to assist in trying to identify what exactly transpired here beginning at 11:27 a.m. this morning. They gave up their time from their families. They showed up. They reminded us that there are people who put on a uniform every single day, put themselves in harm's way. The people out there on that bridge, in the immediate aftermath of what happened, unknown, the source, the cause of this explosion, were out there doing their jobs. So I want to pause to give them just the gratitude of a governor and 20 million New Yorkers who sleep better at night because of their willingness to do this. They run toward danger. They should be with their families today, but they will not be. This investigation will go on for a number of days, and that's why we will not have any further answers at this time as to the individuals involved, the deceased, any motivation, and there's a lot of unanswered questions. But at this time, we just need to dial down the temperature right now, and that's what I plan to do as governor. Just let everybody know all is well. We're investigating. More information could arise, but based on the preliminary investigation, no sign of terrorist involvement in the horrific explosion that occurred here in Western New York. Any questions?
Governor Hochul, can you explain what you're facing?
That was a live news conference with the governor there addressing the incident that happened earlier this morning at the border crossing, the Rainbow Bridge border crossing near Niagara Falls. She is taking questions from reporters there on the scene, and we'll be keeping an eye out on this story and updating the article that is posted on HawaiiNewsNow.com. So be sure to have your HNN mobile app downloaded to your mobile device to get the very latest there. I want to send you live outside now to New York City. Of course, the holidays are approaching and New York City is buzzing with excitement ahead of the annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. After the break, we'll take a look at some other stories here in the islands and across the nation, and we'll try and bring you that pre-recorded interview with Jonathan Masaki on one of the stories he has coming up. Stay tuned right here on This Is Now.
Aloha, everybody. I cannot believe it, but Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and so is the busiest travel day of the year. I've brought along a forecasting expert, Mr. Turkey, to help you get your forecast for Thanksgiving in order. Let's take a look at a couple of different screens that we have. So right here, you can see that is the mainland U.S. radar and satellite. On the eastern seaboard, you're seeing a lot of activity there. That's a cold front that's sweeping across the eastern parts of the United States, bringing very cold weather and very severe weather in the southeastern parts of the U.S. as well. You can see those temperatures right there, very, very cold, dark blue, dark purple, below freezing temperatures expected in the northeastern parts of the U.S., so snow, sleet, and freezing rain are possible up there if you're traveling there. And you can see as well back here at home, we're tracking a cold front falling apart right on top of us, a high pressure system to our north, and another cold front due by the time we get to this upcoming weekend. High surf is also possible by the time we get to Thursday. Temperatures as well, 85 degrees on Wednesday and Thursday. Windward and Mauka showers, and a beautiful sunny day for Thanksgiving to give thanks with your friends and family. I'm going to say goodbye to Mr. Turkey. Hopefully he escapes Thanksgiving dinner. And of course, if this forecast changes, we'll let you know right away here in the First Alert Weather Center.
Take a look at the updated drought map. And you can see most of Hawaii Island under level 2 severe drought. And what's strange is the Kona side is under moderate drought. It's better off because they have consistent afternoon, early evening showers. Now, even the windward side of Maui, they've been picking up some rain, so that's been upgraded. But look at the extreme drought. That's been actually downgraded. It's been increased in size, and we have been downgraded as well. Our leeward side now suffering from severe, from extreme drought, level 3 drought. And look at Maui. The windward side has been upgraded. Now they are drought free. That's not a surprise considering all the rain that's been coming in to the windward side of Maui. So we're going to see fewer showers as we head towards Thanksgiving, actually. We'll still see some passing showers from time to time. But overall, we're going to have a fairly dry Thanksgiving. Nice conditions through Friday as well. But starting on Saturday, an approaching front is going to cut off those trade winds. We'll have variable winds starting on Friday. A few more showers ahead of that front on Saturday. That front due in on Sunday. And once that front moves through, breezy trade winds take over for a brief time through Monday. And then that rain comes back again on Tuesday.
Mahalo to our First Alert weather team for always keeping an eye on the conditions. Turning to another story now, I recently got to catch up with the Scott Ohana. Their daughter, Madison Makana Okahaku Scott, captured hearts several years ago with her Olelo Hawaii and Leo Nahe Nahe, or her sweet voice. We caught up right here in the Digital Center. Here's some of what she had to say. Madison, we've known you for several years now. Tell us a little bit about your journey in the last few years with your love for Hawaiian music, Olelo Hawaii. Tell us about that.
Well, I am very, 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 very excited to announce that I am currently working on my third Hawaiian album. The past couple years during COVID, of course, COVID was very hard for a lot of people. As I'm sure a lot of you listening out there know, COVID was definitely a hard time. But one of the several, I should say maybe many things that God did during COVID for me was He allowed a lot of creative time. I wasn't performing a lot, and there was just a lot of time to just create and write songs. And because our family didn't come here to Hawaii during that time, I was missing people. I was missing our friends, and it's just been so amazing to just see all the friends that God has put in our path, like Dylan, right? Yeah. And so I was just missing people and missing our friends, and several close friends just came to mind during that time. God gave me several ideas to write several mele for several various friends, and particularly mele in Olelo Hawaii.
Can you give us a little preview, maybe a little mele, what you want to tell us about that?
Well, let's see. Why don't I do Papa's mele? The mele I wrote for him. A verse in that song. Aloha wau ia oe, e ku'u papa olu, loko mai kai oe,
beautiful. Mahalo nui for sharing that. I just love listening to you sing. Every time your voice is just so angelic. And I know you have touched so many people near and far who have heard your story.
You know, how do we feel? I think the word that comes, I feel amazed and I feel humbled that she, you know, God has given her this gift for music. But then he gave her this love for Hawaii that we didn't even expect. And it's really been a beautiful journey to be on with her. And thankful that she wants us to be a part of it. Yeah.
Always great to catch up with that ohana. Lovely people for sure. Unfortunately, we don't have time to bring you that interview with Jonathan Masaki, but we will be posting it on our social platforms. Thank you all so much for watching. Happy Thanksgiving.